I hate to lean on Nike, but it always comes down to just do it, because people are so hesitant to try something new. You're not going to know how to do it until you're in the thick of doing it. You have to try it.
Welcome to Midlife Dialogues. We are talking again to Chris Bordessa, and this week we're going to talk about the philosophy of it all. That may sound deep, but really I just mean talking about how she has built her life and what she's doing for work and how it all comes together. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
We've talked already about how you are running a very successful online website that is called Attainable Sustainable. I will put the URL down in the description box below this. This is a website where you're teaching people very practical skills for living a little bit closer to the land, what to grow, how to make soap, how to do things that just make life a little bit simpler. And you found a tremendous gathering. You were telling us in the last episode that you have 500,000 people following you or more. And I just think that's so interesting. So first, what does your day-to-day work look like? What does it look like to run a site like that?
First, I want to address the fact that you said that it's a simpler life, because that is kind of a conundrum, if you will. Because yes, simpler and closer to the earth and more eco-friendly and all of those things that kind of go with simple doesn't necessarily mean that it's always easier. You know, if you're cooking a meal at home from scratch, you know what the ingredients are, you know how it's going together, and you're feeding your family. But at the end of it, you've got dishes to wash and food to put away and all of the things that go with that, which is very different than bringing a meal home from someplace. So shifting people into a simpler life sometimes means a little bit more work, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Yeah, I guess that wasn't the best word. I do understand, though. There's a lot of work sometimes in doing things that are more like our grandparents might have done them.
Right. Yeah. It's a word that I use too, because it is kind of the simpler, more old-fashioned way of doing things. But it's pretty simple to run down to the fast food joint and grab dinner. But that's not how I'm choosing to do it.
That's a very good point. Yes. Okay. I stand corrected.
Okay. You asked what my day-to-day life looks like. My day-to-day life is, a fair amount of time spent on the computer. It can be anything from writing a new recipe, writing a new post about garden situation or what have you, and putting new content on the website. It can be updating a post, which I've been doing a lot of lately, because I've got some posts that go back to 2011. They've just been living there. And, if you go back and look at them, they're just formatted poorly or the photos aren't great. So I'm trying to update those so that it's someplace that people will be happy about visiting instead of it being a kind of ugly place. So I'm updating those. It can be doing graphics. Some of the things that I share on social media involves sharing graphics. So some of it's a little bit of that work. It can be working on a manuscript. It can be taking photos. That's the other thing, is I try to make sure that I've got photos so people can kind of see what's happening or how things go. So some of it is photos, and that's a skill that is hard for me. I am not a photographer, so I'm having to learn how to position things so that they are clear photos. All of those things that I'm doing don't necessarily contribute to that simpler, more self-reliant lifestyle that I'm talking about. So there's always that too, right? I really would like to be canning jam because those guavas are going to go bad, but I'm busy making sure that my site is up and functioning.
I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes on behind a site like that people don't see. You must be in the kitchen a lot. You're actually making every recipe that you post about, right? Trying it out and making sure it works right, and maybe making it more than one time.
I do spend some time in the kitchen as well. Yeah, trying different recipes. I just went through and I did some canning. And again, that's making sure from start to finish, canning it. If I want to put that recipe on my site, it means that I'm stopping and taking photos as I go. I mean, it's actually kind of gotten to be a joke around here. I'm famous for saying, stop what you're doing, I need to take a picture of that, right? Don't eat that, I need to take a picture of that. But then when my husband cooks something, he will constantly come to me and say, do you want to take a picture of this? Is this going to be on your website? I have to say, no, just go ahead and cook. Please make dinner. That's fine.
Does anything he cook end up on your website?
Yeah, actually, there is a French apple cake that is on the website that was something that he developed from a recipe. We try to be gluten-free, so he kind of took it and turned it into a gluten-free thing, and it's wonderful, and we have it all the time. And yeah, I said, let's put that on the website. That's a keeper there.
That sounds great. You clearly married well. It must give you some sort of freedom to run a business like this too, while not negating how much work it is. Sounds like you have some flexibility in your days, which I think is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Because it's online, the website is just there. And if I need to take a week off for something, I can do that because it's it's there, it's done. And, I haven't added anything to it. I haven't updated it or anything like that, but it's there. So I can walk away for a week or so and go, handle things in real life that need to be done. It allows me also to work with my flow. I can work for a couple hours in the morning and then, be done. I'm tired of doing this, or it's for whatever reason, it's not working out in my head the way I want it to work out. I can be done. I'm not on a deadline with the website. So it's absolutely completely flexible.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We talked more in the last episode about this book you wrote for National Geographic called Attainable Sustainable. And I think this is such a wonderful thing. It's just such a beautiful book. I really love it. And I know there is another National Geographic book in the works. Tell us about that.
Yes, the next book is way out on the horizon. It will be published in the spring of 2025. It's been a really, really long process. But when Attainable Sustainable came out, I imagine that National Geographic saw that there was a market for it and that people were really enjoying it and using it. They asked if I wanted to do another one. I honestly had to think long and hard about whether or not I wanted to do another one, because it's a ton of work, but it's a deep dive into essentially the pantry section of Attainable Sustainable. The whole thing is going to be about stocking a pantry, how to make a lot of maybe some of your supermarket favorites from scratch. If you lean on a homemade cocoa, there's going to be a recipe in there for how to make that yourself from individual ingredients. There's a whole section on canning, start to finish, getting people started with the basics, and then moving into a little bit more difficult canning, dehydrating, homemade condiments, a little bit of everything. And the title for that is going to be the Attainable Sustainable Pantry.
Very nice. Very nice. That sounds right up your alley also. My pantry looks forward to that book. I wonder if you were not doing this online website and these books for National Geographic, I imagine you'd still be living the way you're living. Is that the case?
Oh, 100%. The website and the books are just kind of, I don't know, happenstance as far as how I ended up making my living. And it just fits very well with the lifestyle that I lead. I mean, I think that there are people out there who maybe are writing books and doing things where they're going out and researching and finding out about things to turn it into a book, but they're not actually living that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how some people's book projects come about. For me, the book project and the website come about because this is something that I'm doing every day. It's just something that is important to me. It's part of my everyday life.
Yeah, I think that's really fortunate. You're really lucky. You're not writing this content and writing these books because the market is calling for them. You're writing them because that's something that is within you and important to you. And not everybody has that. I think it's wonderful that you have found that and found a way to make it, pay for your lifestyle. It's wonderful.
Right. I'm very, very fortunate that I've been able to turn this into a business that can both, support my lifestyle and also help educate other people and kind of help drag them along with me learning how to do some of these things.
Right. Back when we were getting out of college and wondering what we were going to do with our lives, I don't imagine either of us could have dreamt we'd be doing what we are doing now. It didn't really even exist.
It did. That's right. It did not exist. I mean, and even when I started thinking about the idea back in 2011 of starting a site, I mean, we had the internet, but it was also new.
It's great that you've found a way to run with it and build it up like you have. Do you recommend this sort of online business to others?
Sure. It's very flexible, but it's not easy. I think that if somebody really wants to have this sort of business, have this sort of flexibility, I think absolutely go out there and learn how to do it. But you have to go into it knowing there is so much to learn. There's so much to know. I have over the years established a lot of posts on my site, which kind of helps carry it. Getting that written, that was years of working to make those posts so that people could have that information. Now it lives there, but getting started it's a challenge to get going. If you had asked me 5 years into it, maybe even 7 years into it, I don't think I would have said, wow, I'm really succeeding at doing this.
Would you say that now?
I think so, because I'm able to get that information out to people, whether through my website or the book, eventually books, that information is getting out there. And I'm able to do that as my job.
I see it as a way that you've embraced both the way you like to live, the things you are good at, your talents, and used all that to create your own work and lifestyle. It's just amazing. I think it's really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun, probably 90% of the time.
When is it not fun?
It's that tech stuff. That tech stuff is That's not the fun stuff.
And how do you deal with that? I gather you've learned a lot. You just sit down and figure things out. Do you also hire others?
I've learned a lot, and I have got a couple of people on the hook, one of whom is my son, who I can go to and say, this thing is not working. How do I make this work? And I think that's the background stuff that happens. My readers don't see that. They don't know that I'm, over here pulling my hair out over this one stupid, I don't know, paragraph that won't align, or the photo is in a, why is this happening? So I think that's the thing that you don't see, the back end stuff that people don't realize you're fretting over.
Right. And since you mentioned your son, go ahead and give his business a plug here.
My son is a musician on the island, and he is an ukulele instructor. He has a website called liveukulele.com, where he has all kinds of free resources for people who want to learn how to play the instrument.
And it's great. Are there any sayings or philosophies that you live by? Is there anything that occurs to you that kind of guides what you're doing and how you do it?
I hate to lean on Nike, but it always comes down to just do it, because people are so hesitant to try something new. Whether we're talking about my readers who are trying to embrace a new lifestyle, or somebody who's interested in starting a new kind of business, online business, what have you, you're not going to know how to do it until you're in the thick of doing it. You have to try it. But gosh, starting that one new thing is always so hard. If you don't have the background, if you don't know how to cook dinner, where do you start?
Well, you start at Attainable Sustainable. And what's next, Chris? What's on the horizon for you?
Well, I have the book coming, which is, as I said, it's going to come out in 2025. So there's, a lot of work that still has to happen with that. As far as I've already gone through edits with it, I'm at this point expecting that we'll start working on the layout, which I'm not sure how involved I'll be in that. I was a little bit with the first book. So we'll have layout on that. And then going into 2025, when the book comes out, there will be some sort of, I don't know, book launch, something that will happen. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. So that, that really is going to be the focus. And then, I just continue working on the website and keeping it active and available for people.
Well, that's terrific. That's terrific. I want to thank you so much, Chris. I have really enjoyed talking with you, and best of luck as you go on with everything.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me come on your program.
You're very welcome. And everybody out there, thank you for watching Midlife Dialogues, and we'll see you next time.